supposed to be, hopefully, and I would like to broaden it if we can too, rather than just the panelists, because I know they would be grateful for some relief as well. This is supposed to be a reflection on our last semester, our 4th year, and what the impact of that might have done to us in terms of steering us in a direction or impacting some life decisions that we made. Because as each of us remembers, it was an arduous time, and what we tried to do, is to have a panel that reflected both sides. We have Stuart Pate, and we have Steve Hayes, and we have Joel Gardner, and myself, and where's that? Abe is out ministering to something. Danny Abe. But what we wanted to do, just in time. You've already been introduced, I have to say. But what we wanted to do is basically just to reflect on that. It's sort of a prelude to maybe some conversations we'll have this evening. And if and if we don't use the time wisely, then I certainly encourage contributions by anybody else who would like to participate as well. I'd sort of like to frame it. If we'll go back to the spring of '70, I lived in room number 5 on the West Lawn, which was not far from where all the action took place on the steps of the Rotunda. And I'm sorry, I'm Peter Schmidt. I didn't introduce myself properly. And I'd been in the counseling program for 3 years. I was a counselor and then a senior counselor. But my last year, and remember you couldn't use an immersion heater in the old McCormick Road building. They burned down. Remember that? Yeah. But I had this refrigerator that was as big as that door in my room. And every time it came on, all the lights on the west side of the lawn would dim. And that refrigerator, which was completely illegal, and I got caught, and it was unpleasant, but that refrigerator was a repository of a lot of beer from different senior class functions that didn't get considered. So we just sort of kept it there, and what would happen is guys from the football team would come in, and guys from wherever else, Moshel would come in, and drink beer, and get about half lit, and then go out and start raising hell with the people who were right outside the door. And then come back, and you had the louvers, so you could, the door didn't have to be closed, you just had the louvers. So that obviously added to the intensity of it, but the point is I was clearly one of those guys who supported everything that the strike was against, and we'll reflect on that as we go forward. But it was a visceral time, and it certainly shaped a lot of my thoughts about life at this point. And they say that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and we all survived it and moved on as a group and a country. But what I wanted to do is just on a voluntary basis, probably starting with Joel, let our panelists just sort of give a sense of where they were in their own minds at that time and sort of the impacts of it. I think Danny's going to talk a little bit about his experience as a ROTC student and his service in the Navy. But Joel, why don't you guys go?
Okay, my name is Joel Gardner. I was a graduate from college in '70, came back, went to law school here, graduated in '74, but the 4 years at Virginia here for me were really transformational time in my life. Not only because I think it is for just about any college student, but because I was a kid from a public high school in New York City that came down to Charlottesville in 1966 and was truly a stranger in a strange land. And it was a very, very, very different world for me. And those 4 years, we started in one university and we took our degree in another. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. If you look back, I bet.
This thing for posterity.
If you look back at the history of the university, I'm willing to bet that there is not another 4-year period where so much change took place in such a short period of time. I mean, if you go back to 1966, when we came here, coat and tie, fraternities pretty much ruling everything, social life revolving around big weekends, you know, alcohol, you know, totally abundant parties, grain parties. I mean, I was very fortunate. I used to bring home the Cavalier dailies with me, my folks, to show what was going on at the university. And every time I come home for holiday, I'd bring them home with me. And when my parents got ill and I had to move them out of their house, I found virtually a complete run of the Cavalier dailies from 1966 to 1970. So, you know, on occasion I'll go back and take a look at them. And if you take a look at 1966, I mean, the front page of the Cavalier Daily would be the Eli Banana-Tilka football game. I mean, it would be on the front page. And that's what this university was about back then. It was about tradition. And probably in 1966, things hadn't changed very much from 1956, 46, maybe even when your dad was here. And then it really did evolve. It wasn't 70 just the revolution. The university really started in 68, 69. If you really look back at it, early in 69, I think you almost can go back to 1 month, February of 1969, when I think it was the report came out that the school was going to be going co-ed, and a major push was being made for integration in the school, because I think if you look back at our first year of class, I think maybe there was less than 10 black kids in the class, virtually no Asians. I mean, it really, again, I mean, I was diversity in 1966. I was a Jewish kid from a public high school. A Jewish kid from a public high school in New York City. I was diversity in 1966. So, you know, I was either going to embrace the university or I was going to find it. I don't know. I know some people did pack up and leave. I mean, because it was just so foreign. I mean, I embraced it. I loved it. I was probably, to say, in our 4th year, I lived with my buddy here, Steve Hayes, in the Cracker Box. Having gone through the university and become involved in a lot of different aspects of it, I loved it. I loved the traditions. And my fraternity brother, Stu Pape, over there, too. We were on different sides of the struggle when we did have the struggle in 1970. And I, you know, stood out for the traditionalist view. And probably hasn't changed very much. Some people have evolved, I haven't, you know, since then. But, I mean, for me, when you say how did it change things, I mean, my love for the university has been part of my life since then. And I truly never left Charlottesville. I've been involved one way or another with the university on various different boards for the last 25 years. 2 of my 3 children have gone to school. My daughter just graduated 2 weeks ago. And I love a lot of the things it stands for. And if there is one thing that I can say that followed me, and I'm an investment banker, I'm sorry to say, and I mean, if you say, how did you evolve and how did you get here? When I graduated from the university in 1970, if someone told me I was going to be an investment banker, my first comment would have been, what's an investment banker? I mean, I had never taken a finance course or an accounting course or anything, and it just, life takes its funny paths. And I run a corporate finance group now, but in the business world, particularly in the financial world, I've been dealing with a lot of people where I would say concepts of honor and ethics aren't always on the highest order. And I will say that the one thing that the university left me, and whether it was through, you know, the days of the rebellion, I think it was more the beginning. It was the honor system and the concept of being an honorable person, and concepts that character and integrity are important, that stayed with me through my career, and I like to think help differentiate myself in the professional world, because those things were important, rather than just, you know, going and doing another deal or seeking another big fee.